Shalom, Kahalo Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Akakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. All right, this lesson is about this place coming to a quick end. Okay. Isaiah 47:1, come down. You're coming down. Sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. What does it mean to sit in the dust? Confusion. All right. We're watching this place go from being the shining city on the hill, if you will, to straight out utter confusion. All right. The brother made a video of Edomite women screaming in pain and the whole thing. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. All right? Come down off your high horse. You're no longer running shit. All right? Now we're going to jump down. Where are we jumping down? Right here. I was wroth with my people, as Israel. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy. Hey, you drave us, right, into straight nothingness. All right? You wore out the saints. All right? And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. You're the first one running around talking about karma, but it doesn't apply to you, right? You didn't count the costs, so to speak, of what you the abominable shit that you did. That is has to balance itself out. There's got to be balance. You know that the Most High is about balance. Therefore, hear this, Slakia. Therefore, hear now this: thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that saith in thy heart, I am. There you are again, saying you're the Most High, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Here's what the Most High said. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, out of nowhere. The loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, for your left-handed way of doing things. Okay? For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Here's the point, okay? I only wanted to read this, but there was too much meat up there that I had to bring out, okay? Therefore shall evil come upon thee. And this is the point of the point. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. Okay? And mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly out of nowhere, which thou shalt not know. Okay, now let's look at some different versions of this. Okay? Disaster, NIV. Disaster will come upon you, and you will not know how to conjure it away. Okay? derivatives, whatever you bundles and all of these things that you were able to, rename. You call schemes of your Ponzi schemes and all of that shit. All right, has come to an end. You can't repackage your shit no more and flip it one more time. A calamity will fall upon you that you cannot ward off with a ransom. A catastrophe you cannot foresee will suddenly come upon you. All right? NLT. Everybody loves the NLT now. So disaster will overtake you and you won't be able to charm it away. There's your witchcraft. Your witchcraft ain't working. Stand now with thine enchantments. Okay? Calamity will fall upon you and you won't be able to buy your way out. Let's go print some more money and give all of the companies a bailout. Okay? A catastrophe will strike you suddenly, one for which you are not prepared. Okay? One more. But evil shall come upon you, which you will not know how to charm away. Disaster shall fall upon you, for which you will not be able to atone. No atonement. And ruin shall come upon you suddenly, of which you know nothing. All right, so with all that being said, let's watch Peter Schiff, okay, talk about it from the higher end, if you will, not from the low end. All right, people pulling their hair out and where is it? Where's Schiff at? Here it is, right here. Okay. And he's going to touch on everything that's going on and how this place is crumbling and there's nothing that they can, there's no witchcraft
so fat. Brendan,
that they can bring.
he's how?
Okay. I'm going to start this from the top. Let's invest wisdom mind. Okay, 5 hours ago, Peter Schiff, why the middle class just got financially ruined. This is getting serious. Now they're scared. And what is the Most High doing? He's mocking through his prophets. I will mock when your fear comes. Hey, oh, you scared now. Look at you. Peter D. Schiff is an economist, stockbroker, financial specialist, host of the Peter Schiff Show. Okay? Let's see what old Peter has to say. Peter D. Cheater. All right?
About how Americans are struggling with inflation. Yes, of course, they're struggling with the cost of government. Americans are paying for all the big government programs that Elizabeth Warren supports and votes for through inflation rather than taxation. Warren was particularly outraged at the higher food prices and the higher gas prices that Americans were paying. Of course, she attributes those higher prices to Putin and to price gouging. But she was asking Powell what he was hoping to accomplish by raising interest rates. And when Powell informed her how he was trying to reduce demand, she was very worried that this was going to cause a recession. And she basically wanted Powell to change his strategy because she said, your rate hikes are not going to do anything to bring down the price of food or the price of energy. But what they are going to do is bring up the cost of borrowing money. You're going to raise people's mortgages. You're going to raise the cost of servicing debt. And she said you might end up putting the country into a recession. And so it's not worth it. Maybe it's better to have inflation than recession. And she was basically trying to push the Fed chairman into making that choice. And, I think one of the interesting things about this whole hearing today, we'll see if that changes tomorrow, was that, to me, Powell kind of acknowledged that a recession was going to happen. I mean, he didn't say that the Fed was forecasting one, but he didn't say that they were trying to avoid one. Powell basically said that our forecast is not for a recession, and we're not deliberately trying to create a recession. We're trying to fight inflation. We've got to bring the rate of inflation down to 2%. He said if that ends up causing a recession, well, so be it, because the number one priority is fighting inflation. Even if that fight results in a recession, it's something that we have to deal with, because the bigger problem is bringing inflation back down to 2%. So to me, he's basically now admitting that it's really not even going to be a soft landing, that he kind of knows it's a recession. He just doesn't want to come right out and say we're going there, but he's leaving the door open to the possibility and basically saying it's okay with the Fed. We'd rather not have a recession, but we need to get rid of inflation.
Now, do you hear all these words? Recession, inflation, hyperinflation, all of these different words, okay, are just a way of repackaging debt, okay? And this Ponzi scheme, fractional reserve, and the whole system, the financial system, has to come to an end at some point, okay? You've done everything you can with all the witchcraft and weasel words that you've created. Now it's all bundling up on top of each other, and there's no way out. Now is the time for everything to crash, and they know this, and they've known it for a while that it's coming to an end, which is why they have prepared themselves for what they call the Great Reset, and they have a plan to make everything digital and wipe everything away, right? Which is just more witchcraft. But guess what? Okay, the Most High has said you have reached your bound, your appointed bounds, and you can't go any further than that. This is what they don't know. We know it. The men of the Lord know. This is going nowhere. He's going to try one last magic trick, right, to flip it so he can stay on the top. But it's just not going to work.
If that means that we have a recession, then we're going to have a recession. And you know, on another note, when Powell is talking about the need to get inflation back down to 2%, in reality, he's supposed to get it below 2%. Because if you recall, when inflation was last below 2%, the Fed wanted to change its policy because it didn't want to stick with 2% inflation, because it wanted to create more. So it decided to change its mandate from 2% inflation to an average rate of inflation of 2%. So the Fed was saying that because we had inflation below 2% for so long, we needed to run inflation above 2% for a while in order to bring the average to 2%.
You see the shell game, the 3-card Molly? It's all magic and witchcraft. But you can't, I mean, it's over. Okay? You can't hide what you're doing. The trick doesn't work anymore. Okay? There's no new terms to conjure up. Okay? It's over.
We've now been so far above 2% for so long, and even if the Fed gets us back down to 2%, it will take several years. Clearly, if you spend a lot of time way north of 2%, if you still want to have an average inflation rate of 2%, you need to spend a lot of time south of 2%. So I think that whole idea of inflation averaging is gone. The Fed is not going to try to average inflation back down to 2%. So that averaging was only there because we had low inflation for a long time. Now that we've had high inflation, they're never going to have a goal of sub 2%. So apparently that concept only applies if inflation's been too low. It never applies when inflation's been too high. One of the senators was concerned about how unaffordable housing is. You had a big increase in prices, and now you have a big increase in mortgage rates. And so he asked Powell what the Fed's going to do to make sure that the rate hikes don't make housing even more unaffordable. And of course, there's nothing the Fed can do, but there's something the market can do. housing prices are going to fall. That's what's going to happen. If people can't afford to buy houses because the cost of borrowing money has gone up, well, the only way you're going to sell a house is if you lower the price. And that is ultimately going to happen, except a lot of people don't want to sell their houses because they don't want to give up their sweetheart mortgages that they've got thanks to the Fed. Thanks to the Fed keeping interest rates artificially low for so long, you've got so many people that have 3.5% mortgages. They're not selling, not in a world where mortgages are 6% and going higher. So you've restricted the supply. And of course, what Congress did, and I went over this on my last podcast, they really destroyed supply with their rent moratorium during COVID by raising the risks of being a landlord and forcing a lot of landlords to withdraw their properties from the market. So instead of asking Powell what the Fed's going to do to make housing more affordable, this senator should look at what the Senate can undo, because it's the U.S. government that has pursued policies that have both increased the cost of home ownership and the level of rents. Then you got one of the senators who was particularly upset by the fact that not a single one of the Federal Reserve Bank presidents had been Hispanic. And he really wants this oversight corrected. Somehow he believes that the economic needs of Hispanics are not being represented because there are no Americans of Hispanic descent who are presidents of Federal Reserve banks.
Huh. I wonder why. No, this just keeps going. It's a circle, a circle of madness that can no longer sustain itself. All right, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. This thing is over. Okay, disaster is coming. All right, and you can't charm it away. All right. And everybody is going to be mad about it. Mortgages are going to go up. Okay? Mortgage. That's your death note that you already got. You won't be able to afford it. They're going to force you into the MOTB, right? The MOTB, just so you can keep your shit. And you can't keep it anyway because you'll have nothing. You'll own nothing and be, see, where are they? Where is this headed? All right, where's this whole thing headed? Let's get this and we'll go ahead and close it. Let's get I bought yet. Oh. Say John Madden. Look at this. Oh, it switched it. Maybe it's 1D. See, look at this. Come on. This is crazy. Next. Okay, Habakkuk. This will lock you. Habakkuk 2:1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, what I shall answer when I am reproved. Jump down to 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Okay, so we've been watching, all right? We see it. We know what this means, all right? We've been watching Peter Schiff for a minute. Okay? Now, who's this? Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. That's the devil, so-called white man Esau, who's been with this shell game for quite a while, playing 3-card Molly with everybody. But the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, his own philosophy, not the Most High's truth. He is a proud, who's a proud man? That's Esau. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. This devil is death. Okay? He is as death and cannot be satisfied. That's why you run in your magical game, but garneth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Yep. So when Moab comes over and has their own town, Moab town, they set up a shop in the hood, take all the money back, and set up there where they buy houses and live deliciously above us. All right? And all these other nations, Ishmael, okay, Elam, everybody's above us, right? But now this is happening to everybody. This is going, see, middle class. Middle class, you got the middle class, you got the upper middle class. Hey, if you're not in the top 1%, you're in the now you're in the middle class. All right? So these nations are now, they're getting it. They're mad now. They're like, and including Edom. Edom is like this, wait a minute. I thought we were running this shit, but I ain't got none. Back to the brother. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth, there it is, late. Spell it, relateth himself with thick clay, all of that debt. Shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake that vex thee? They done woke up, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Let me go. Where's the brother at? Salakia, I gotta play a little bit of this. This. The brother Yawakanan.
Reading MSG.
Let's watch this. Okay, the brother Yawakanan 10.0. All right, Breathe Esau is just started. This is, I believe, today. These people are mad. Okay? They're like, well, wait a minute. I'm an Edomite. Where's my cut? Why is this shit going wrong for me?
Let it out. Let it out. Everybody wants to show the happy side. I'm mad as hell today!
She got look back there. She well-to-do, middle class.
But because I have responsibilities, I'm gonna do these freaking dishes.
Where's your maid at there? Can't afford the maid no more? All right, so here's what's going on. All right. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? They're taking all the money, redistribution of wealth. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake? They're awakening. They woke. That shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Okay? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Okay? All right, so we'll go ahead and end it right here. All right? So this is going to be the norm. All right? This is the normal. Where's the devil at? Look at that. Look at that demon. Okay?
I'm gonna do these freaking.
Yeah, you got to do them dishes. Actually, that's Moab's job. That.
Out. Let it out.
All right, so with that, we're going to hope that the elect were edified, you brothers and few sisters, and with that, we can say shalom.